Welcome back. It's IELTS FACE-OFF challenge. And right now we're going to host a lively debate between Thiệu Như and Quỳnh Anh, and we're going to have the topic pop up right in the screen. And the topic is debate topic. Adults will never be able to learn a new language as well as children because the adult's brain find it hard to absorb new information. So that is the topic. I have two worksheets right here, and who will affirm negative and who will affirm the opposite situation?
I'm negative.
I will be the affirmative.
You'll be affirmative, you'll be negative, and you have 5 minutes to prepare. And you can start right now. Time is up, and you will each have 2 turns to protect your position. And first up is the affirmative.
Today's motion is adults will never be able to learn a new language as well as children because the adults' brains find it hard to absorb new information. And I'm the affirmative side. I completely agree with this motion. First of all, I will give out the definition of important words that should be highlighted in this motion. Adults means that any person who is above the age of 19, and children means that any people who's below the age of 19. Absorb new information is that learning and accepting and acknowledging new knowledge. Language is a way of communication either through writing or speaking. My points are when you become an adult, mostly when you are 30, your brain started to shrink. Maybe it will increase the size, but some parts of the brain, such as the hippocampus, which is in charge of the memory of the brain, it shrinks and loses the ability to memorize more and more information. That's why adults don't have the ability to learn a new language as easy as children because their brain started to shrink and the hippocampus started to lose its main ability. Like my grandmother, when she started to hit the age of 50, she can't remember much because her hippocampus started to shrink slowly and slowly, and she started to lose memory. And rather, learning another language is very, very hard to her. Another point of mine is when you became an adult, there are a lot of things you have to be worried about. First of all, your if you're financially stable or not, and worry about taxes and things in life such as your jobs, your children. That's why you can't focus mainly on language so that you can learn language as effectively as children, because children have nothing to worry about rather than learning a new language. But as adults, they have too much things on their head and and they have too little time to focus on learning a new language. That's why adults' brain will find it very hard to absorb new information and very hard to learn a new language, not like children can.
Okay, Thiệu Như, it's your turn.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Thiệu Như. I'm from the from the negative side, and this is my first turn speaking. The motion of today's debate is adults will never be able to learn a new language as well as children because the adults' brains find it hard to absorb new information. I agree with Quỳnh definition, but I would like to add more. The word will never be able to mean that it's impossible. And so let's get on with my points. Before talking about my points, I'm gonna rebut Quỳnh Anh's point. She said when we are older, our brain shrink and lost its main ability. I agree, but as research have found, the brain keeps develop until that person reach like 40 years old, and it will only shrink after that. And adults, as you have said earlier, is older than 19 years old, and before 45 years old, they could still keep learning language. You also said they cannot focus mainly on learning, but you can always put out 1 hour per week, right? So it's alright to learn language as adults. So for my first point is that the brain keeps develop with that until the person reach 45 years old. That means the brain is still getting better and better, so they can still remember all the vocabularies and grammar rules. My second point is that research shows that adults remember vocabularies more easily. So even though children can pronounce it better, but adults still have the good memories to remember all the vocabularies. To my third point, focus is something really important in studying, and research has also shows that adults have better focus than children because their focus span is longer. Some example like my grandfather, when he was 35 years old, he started learning English, and now he's a fluent English speaker, and he's very old now. So, thank you for listening.
Thank you. Thank you for finishing your turn. Quỳnh Anh, this is your last turn.
This is my second turn of speaking, and I'm going to rebut Thiệu Nyu's point. First of all, she said that an adult's brain will keep develop until they hit the age of 45. But that works for most people, but some cannot. And sometimes people will have this disability that their brain shrinks much rapid and much faster than others. So most adults can't really learn new languages because their brain started to shrink really rapid when they hit the age of 45. But before that, studies have shown that children at age 18 have the most ability to learn new language. That means they're still children, right? They can't learn. So that means that adults can't learn new languages as effectively as children. And she also said that adults can take out 1 hour per week to learn a new language, but I think that it's too little time, and you will forget all the things that you have learned in only that 1 hour very quickly. Especially if you're an adult, you have too much work on your hand, so that 1 hour won't be effective much, and you won't be learning new vocabs every day if you only learn for 1 hour per week. She also said that adults can remember vocabulary much easier than children, and she said that children can pronounce much better than adults. But for me, learning a new language and using it fluently is mostly about speaking and writing. So if you know a lot of vocabulary but you can't express it through words, and you can't communicate it with others, it's such a waste, and it means nothing. So if you have a good vocabulary, you have to be able to be fluent at speaking too. She said that adults have better focus than children, but they can still be distracted because they have a lot of responsibility on their hands, and sometimes their children can barge into the room and distracted them from their studies. So that's why I think that adults will never be able to learn a new language as effectively as children.
Thank you. And this is your last turn.
So first, I will start with rebutting. Quỳnh said that some people might have disability and they cannot learn language when they're adults. But I think that not everyone has disabilities, and most of the people is actually normal. It's just a little amount of people. I have to agree that age 18 is the best age to learn a new language. But adults might not learn it as effective as children, but it's not impossible. We are children, we don't know how well adults can focus, so maybe they are worse in pronunciation, but that doesn't mean that they cannot do it. But somehow I have to agree, the adult's brain find it a little bit harder to absorb new information. But it is not impossible again. So thank you for listening.
Right, so there you have it, this lively debate. Thank you, both you guys. I think you've made very clear points on both of your stances, and thank you for exhibiting very good debating skills.